guys, my name is Thana and welcome to my channel. Today we're doing something different. We are working on my Audi A6 and I'm going to change my brakes. So stay tuned and let's get started. Welcome back. Well, this is my Audi A6 hybrid and I'm changing my front brakes on my Audi, and I thought why not bring you along for this journey. Normally I send my car to a mechanic to change my brakes, but I figured, well, it's MCO, I want to stay indoors, why not do my brake myself? And while I do this brake change, I want to go through to you some tips. And tip number one is always wear safety equipment. Now, gloves, you might think, well, I don't care about getting my hands dirty, I don't mind having grease on my hand. It's not about being dirty, it's about being more than you can be. If you wear gloves, you can hold the spanner harder, you can go in deeper, you can squeeze something harder. So having gloves makes you almost superhuman, gives you the added ability. So always wear gloves. It's not only important, it gives you more strength while doing your job. Now, first foremost obviously is to jack the car up. I've got a jack here, and depending what car you have, this jack is low enough that I can get into my car. And the first thing you got to notice is that you got to find where are your jacking points. So on this car over here, let me show you. Yes, I got a camera here. So come here, okay? So if you see here, on the car, there'll be jacking points. Marked here is a triangle here. And if you go underneath the car, yep, you can see there are actually spots for you to jack the car at the particular spot. And that's where I gotta go. So I follow through, get my jack underneath. Get in the correct spot. If you get in the wrong spot, what you end up is, you end up damaging the frame of the car itself. Just try to get in there. Wow. That's the problem of having a very low car. Your car is lowered, you have problem jacking the car up because it's just so low. Yeah, I think. Yep, that's it. And there. Okay. So let's do this. And off we go. Now, while jacking the car up, things to be careful about is that how far up should you jack the car up? Okay? Don't jack the car to more than what's required. You might find you're masculine and you can jack the car up so it's this high. Don't do that. Just jack the car up. The point is just barely touching the tires. That way you can get the tires off and on easily. So again, I'll jack up. I'll do, and if you want, you can get a piece of paper. No, it's okay. Cherish. A piece of paper. As you jack up, you can see can the paper pass through. My hand.
All bigger.
Yes, it's going out. Okay. As you can see, the paper can barely go through. That's the correct height for the tires to be. Okay. Next, I want to show you another tip. Tip number two is that when removing the lugs off your tire. Now, so this is my toolkit here. Okay. So depending what you have. So this is my toolbox here with a ray here, and what I do is I take, in this case, my 17. So my car uses a 17mm lug nut. I tape it around. Let me show you here clearer. Okay, I use a tape and tape it around so that when I put the thing inside, it doesn't scratch up my rims. Or you may have this over here, these are your typical spanner, and what you can do is get some tape. I don't have nails. Yeah, wearing gloves. So yeah, take your tape and you want to tape out the outer edge here. Okay, and what that makes you is that makes your rims less susceptible to scratches when you open the rim. Okay, that's tip number 2, and I think it's a good tip. Okay, couple times. Yeah, see, that way you won't scratch up your rims. Okay, so opening the nuts. Okay, okay, so now you see it's tight. Okay, now you could go and put a bar across, whatever, but an easy way to open if you're even stuck in the roadside is that just put it to where it should be, and I want to anti-clockwise so it should open, and just step on it. So, yep, loose. That's the easiest way to open a lug nut. Okay, step on it. Okay, just lightly.
Papa, can I do it?
No, no Harish.
Oh.
Okay, don't jump. Just slightly move, rock your body up and down, and that should free up the lug nuts.
Okay, Pa.
Okay.
Whoa.
I didn't push it through. Is it all? That's all of that. Okay. Why don't you come closer? Okay. One.
Papa, the work, Papa. The work.
It's fine. Okay. Always put your nuts in a orderly fashion, so you know where they are. You don't
There's
hunt for
2
them.
more left, Papa.
Mama?
2 more left, Papa.
3 more left. There's 5 altogether.
There's 2 more, Papa.
There's 2 here.
Yeah.
Okay, count Naresh. 1,
1,
2.
2, 3.
Wait.
There's 2 of them.
Okay. That's 3.
There's 3.
Okay, get away, Naresh.
1, 2, 3. 3
4.
of them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So as you can see, as I open the tire, it drops out ever so gently. You know, there is no violent shake or pull or whatever. It's just sitting on the ground ever so gently. You know, you don't need to put pressure to kind of move the tire down. So, yep, it's out. It's easy as that. So getting that initial height, you raise the car up, is very important. It makes your life so much more easier. Okay.
When come time to read them now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 of them.
Okay. So we're back. The tire is off. Now what? Okay, so we got your lug nuts. Let's put them away. Okay, safely. What do you do first? Okay, now before we go in deeper, I want to talk to you about calipers. Calipers, what type of calipers they are, and what type of calipers are these. Okay, so first and foremost, calipers, there are 2 types. Again, let's just zoom back in. Okay, these are what you call as floating calipers, because the caliper has one piston on the back side over here, and it pushes in this way. As it pushes this way, it gets squeezed up, and the pads on both sides gets pushed in. These are floating calipers. A fixed caliper has pistons on both sides where it pushes on both ends. So when you hear 4-pot or 6-pot, those are all fixed calipers. This is a floating caliper. Pros and cons, I guess the feel is different. The feel of braking is different, but other than that, the pads is what is important. How big are the rotor and how big are the brake pads? Okay, so what do you do to remove them? Okay, let's do this.
Papa,
Yes, Harish?
in
I'm showing the people there how to do brakes, Harish.
which way?
Okay, first and foremost, let's get this retainer clip off here. Okay, this clip comes off. Just pull out, and it comes out easily. Or get a flat head. Okay, and that's it. And now this point, you want to be careful because why? This can jump. So you put your hand on one side here to make sure that you don't get hurt in the process, because this is under tension, and it could injure you if you're not careful. Okay, so just put your finger there, maybe if you want. Okay, maybe scared of this part. Okay. So that okay, just be careful. If this hits your eye, it'll be quite painful. Okay, this is the retaining clip. The job of this particular piece is this will push the caliper down so that it hugs and holds the bottom here. These are actually serviceable items, so you could actually change them every so often. But the kit that I bought didn't come with this spare piece. Okay, just put it aside over here. Now the back. Now let me show you here on the camera. Okay, so if you go in the back, you will see that. One second. Okay, if you go to the back, you will see. So you can see this, but there are two bolts here. There's basically one bolt here and one bolt there, and on this it doesn't say, yeah, but basically it's these bolts over here. Okay, they're actually number 13. Sorry if it's not very clear, but once I remove them, probably I can show you a bit more clear. But just take out those two bolts there, and they're number 13. So again, get your trusty ratchet, get your 13 out. 13 is here, ready to go. Okay, put it back in. Test this to open, and open. Now, normally these bolts here, you see the very end here, they come with a thread lock here. What that means is, once you have the initial brake, you hear the sound, okay, then it'll be easy to open. So that piece of chemical they put on is to make sure it doesn't come out easily when you go through vibrations.
You see anything, see? Now why is the teeth? Why is the teeth?
Hot.
Hot. Okay, go and take water for you.
One bolt out. Another bolt out. Okay, Now to remove them, this is where it gets a little tricky. So, thank you, Arish.
Somebody drink half of the water.
Yeah,
And
sure.
we-
As you can see
somebody
here,
needs the water.
on this part here, you got to find a way to push the calipers out to give them space so you can actually remove them. At this point, they're being held just by this speed over here. You know, you can see there. Okay, this is the caliper, the pin I took out, and this is what's holding it in place here. By right, it should come off easily, but doesn't, because why? This is under pressure. So I got to find a way to pry this, and don't pry on this metal piece here. This metal piece is attached to this. You got to pry in between here, and what you can do is, okay, if I get this right, okay, for example, you can do this, for example, okay, against the caliper, you see, pushing it, okay. And you're trying to give more space here for it to open up. Don't do against the rotor because you end up smashing the rotor. But the idea is you're going to push this back, give it space, and then okay. So try to do this, and then I'll join shortly.
Why is sweaty?
Yeah, it's out. So I had to use a mixture of clams and a few other stuff to make it work. And as soon as you get it out, it's a good idea to remove all the clips that's holding the brake line. So again, it's out. Let me just show you here. So the caliper is out. It took you a bit of work to take it out. A bit of screwdriver, a bit of clamp. You know, I'm sure there's a better way of doing this, but from what I know, I just did. All that's important is that don't get the rotor scratched up. Don't gouge. Anything is important. Get the mechanics right because you're trying to push the piston here. Okay. And tip number 3, I think it's 3. Make sure that your brake reservoir is open because you're trying to push here with pressure, and if that is closed, it won't work. Okay, so make sure it's open so you can easily push it through. Removing the brake pads is easy. It's just a matter of coming out. But as you can see here, it isn't easy. It is stuck on here. That's because probably the brake grease wasn't applied before. And that's very important. Tip number 4, always apply brake grease, because how it works is the floating calipers, they need things to move around, and there's no grease there on the back part of this pads over here. One, it's difficult to take out now. Number 2 is that it'll make noise as it rubs and shakes. So brake grease is very important. Brake grease is, you can buy a bottle, but I bought the sachet over here. I think it's like 2 or 3 ringgit online. Yeah, this is by Bendix. Okay, and you apply the grease on the bolts as well as the back of the pads. So I'm going to remove the brake pads here. To remove them, I'm going to tap it gently and this should come off. Before that, very important, make sure you hang your brake calipers somewhere safe, because if this drops, oh my god, you are screwed, my dear friend. Okay, so make sure they are properly suspended, supported, so that they are safe. Okay, so let's get this off now. So this should be an easy task, but so hard. So again, we'll try some prying around. Almost there. Yay, it's out. It's finally out. Okay, it's finally out. And that is it. Okay. Okay. So yeah. That's what happens when you don't apply brake grease on this side. Interesting, huh? Yeah. It is so worn off that you can look here. You can see a piece of crack forming. Okay. Now, before we remove this part over here, leave that piece on, and what you do is get your clamp. Ooh. Get your clamp, and we need you to push this in this way, and use that to support. Okay. So as you can see here, this is my clamp. While I'm applying pressure, this will push in and will push the piston back in. So as you can see, this is a one piston brake. Now that we have removed the brake calipers, so again, the brake pads are here, calipers are out. These are our old brake pads, and these are our new brake pads. I want to show you the difference here. Okay, the size. Okay, let's have a look at this. These are the new pads. Look how thick they are, and these are the old pads. So different. Okay, so let me just put this back in, and I'll see you shortly. So installing the brake pads back in. So these are the lubricant, and what you can do is you can apply a bit on the back here, just a bit, not too much. Okay, so these are special type of grease. Let's apply a bit here, a bit there. That should be enough. Let me take a tissue and just spread them all over. Okay, you want to get the grease all over here, so that next time when you open the brake pads up, it's easy to come out and they don't make any funny noise. Okay, and they go back in. As simple as that. Your pads are back in. Okay, and now we're gonna take them out, turn it this way, and put it back